Do y'all remember those CDs that used to be popular? You know, the ones that when you couldn't afford the actual CD, whether it be a song or a movie, you could find somebody to bootleg for you. Well, that is what Dominique Alexander is out here doing. He is bootlegging his security team. And not just that, y'all. He is planning a disaster waiting to happen on May 25th. Now, I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but we're going to get into all of that. I'm Tamera. You're watching the Tamera Nealy Show. I would like to welcome back all my returning subscribers. And if you're new here, I would like to let you know I am sure happy you're here. So, before we get into anything, let's just quickly say a word of prayer. God is good, okay? He is so good. So, Lord, I thank you. Thank you for today. I thank you for each and every person who's listening to this today, and I just pray that you give them, I pray that they have a great weekend, Lord. I pray that their weekend is filled with experiences, memories, that will last a lifetime, that are positive. And I pray that they spend time with their families, their loved ones, and just find peace and excitement, and, just help them to enjoy life today, Lord. Help them not to be overwhelmed with this chaos going on, Lord, because finding satisfaction is something that you want for us, right? And so I just thank you for your love. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. I'm ready. Are y'all ready to go ahead and get into the first segment of this show? Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the first segment of today's show. Before we get into Dominique Alexander's latest criminal activity that we know about, let's go over what he has coming up, because he has an event coming up, and it's a protest that's going to be held on May 25th, 2025. Okay? This is alarming, because we have been talking about how Dominique Alexander is trying to plan a George Floyd 2.0, and it's clearly blowing up in his face, even though he doesn't see it quite yet. But he's planning this protest. 5 years ago, the world watched George Floyd take his last breath under the knee of police brutality. We marched, we cried, we organized. Now we resist. What are y'all resisting? Dominique Alexander, what are you resisting? Are you resisting accountability? Are you resisting transparency? What are you resisting, sir? He says, today our rights are under attack. Project 2025, which we know President Trump clearly said he is not supporting and does not support Project 2025. But once again, he's latching on to something that he knows is a lie, that he knows is not actually the truth, in order to push his real agenda. He knows he has momentum right now because Carmelo Anthony has this, he's involved in Carmelo Anthony's chaos. Something that I want you to understand is this. You get to choose what team you want to be on. Are you going to be on the Lord's team, or are you going to be on the devil's team? Are you going to be on the enemy's team? Are you going to serve God, or are you going to serve the devil? Are you going to do good, or are you going to do evil? You have the choice. You get to make that choice. So he goes on to say, today our rights are under attack. He lists out these attacks. Attacks on DEI. Is it a tax on DEI, or is the American people actually starting to wake up to the disaster of DEI, the dangers of DEI? Because I think what's actually happening is that Americans are starting to understand that DEI is actually separating us, not bringing us together. And now Americans are like, we want something better. We don't want DEI. How about we just come together and we love each other and we actually work together? Because we've been working together all this time. So why not keep working together? This country has moved past the era of the civil rights movement. Y'all have to learn how to work together. And that's the thing, is some of us over here have already learned how to live together. We already learned how to work together. This country has come too far for somebody like Dominique Alexander to come in trying to destroy what has already been made here. Are y'all gonna let him? So he says attacks on DEI and education. Voting rights dismantle. What voting rights are you talking about, sir? Because you referring to the fact that IDs are required? Y'all are sitting here acting like y'all didn't know that you got to bring an ID when you go outside the house. Whether you're going outside to drive your car, going outside with somebody else to, drive to the grocery store, you need to have an ID on you. It's the same way when you go to vote. Stop acting brand new. You know how this works. So what voting rights have been dismantled? Because last time I checked, I'm a woman and I happen to be black. And my voting rights are intact. I can vote just like everybody else. So what voting rights have been dismantled? Also, you said civil rights protections erased. What civil rights don't you have? Last time I checked, the civil rights are working so much in your favor that the judge involved in the Carmelo Anthony case actually ended up lowering your bond, Carmelo Anthony's bond significantly. So what civil rights protections have been erased? And that judge happened to be a black woman. But that's the thing, is these people ain't grateful for nothing. All they can do is complain, because they're not doing anything productive with their lives. And y'all wonder why President Trump is sending these people back to work, because an idle mind is the devil's workshop. These people got too much free time on their hands. And that's the problem. So it says state sanctioned violence continues. You're talking about the violence that you've been inciting? The violence that you have been talking about on your page? That's the thing. Is we know that George Soros has been funding you allegedly. We know that you've been working with the dark side. Don't act brand new now, Dominique Alexander. We see what's at play here. He says this isn't just about the past. It's about the war being waged on our future. No, it is about the money that's being put in your pocket. Come on. I'm seeing right through it. Okay? Because it really is black and white. If you really think about it. Those who have eyes can actually see what's going on here and what you're up to. We're not falling for it. And I hope and pray that people who are their eyes are blinded right now and they're kind of saying, oh yeah, Dominique, hopefully they'll start actually reading what you say and post and start kind of asking questions. Because that's the thing, is you got to start asking questions. A famous philosopher said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Ask questions. Be willing to get curious. Don't just follow blindly. Do your own research. But that's the thing, is when you wake up and you decide to stop being a part of the matrix, people get mad at that. And you got to be like, okay, you can be mad all you want. And then you got to go share that truth with other people. Because the truth is what's actually going to set people free. The truth is what's going to heal this nation. Love is the answer. And this is not love right here. This is not. And see, that's the thing, is they try to use this language, acting like they're, helping and acting like they're, oh. No, you're not doing nothing good, but causing problems. You need to go back to work. It's time for you to get a job. A real job, Dominique Alexander. So it says here, this isn't about the past. It's about the war being waged on our future. The officer was convicted, but the system never changed. Justice was denied. Sorry, the officer was convicted. The officer that you're talking about, which is Derek Chauvin, he's actually in prison right now, serving a lengthy sentence because of the social justice warriors who intimidated the government. Talk about state-sanctioned violence. Let's talk about the violence that BLM activists are inciting. We saw and we remember what y'all did 5 years ago. We're not trying to have that in our country. What is wrong with you? So you can take your bootleg and sell somewhere on. Okay? Because enough is enough. So it says the officer was convicted, but the system never changed. So you think that this is how you can actually change the system, by going out there and rioting and, and I say rioting because that's exactly what he's known for doing. Dominique Alexander is responsible for the deaths of 5 officers, and they happen to be at his protests, trying to serve their community, protecting their community. And unfortunately, because of the violence that he was inciting, their lives were taken. This is what this man is known for. Killing, which he's responsible for the deaths of those officers. Stealing, which we're going to get into that. And destroying. So interesting. My question, Dominique, for you is, who are you really working for? So it said justice was denied. Join us as we demand and qualified immunity. Pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. Protects our communities. Who's going to protect your community when you're killing officers? You're responsible for killing officers, Dominique Alexander. Who are you wanting to protect your community? Your fake security guards? Is that who you really want to protect your community? The bootleg security guards that you hired? And you're receiving fraudulent funds and engaged in criminal activity with those security guards? Is that the protection that you're wanting for the community? It sounds like you want gangs running the community. It sounds like you want violent criminals running the community. I don't want that sort of community, and I don't think most of us do. Because most people are trying to have a good weekend, enjoy their life, enjoy their family and their friends, and enjoy the blessing of being in a great country where they can live freely. They even have the opportunities that people in countries like the Middle East and others don't have. We are the wealthiest country on planet Earth. We have the strongest economy on planet Earth. Yeah, we have some problems, but we are doing pretty good. This is a great country to live in. We're living in the golden age of America right now. We have a president who's actually putting America first. But see, that's the thing, is you're not ready to have a real conversation. Because you're stuck in the past. And I don't know what's happened to Dominique Alexander personally. Maybe there was some childhood trauma. Maybe something happened in his adulthood. Maybe it's because of him. He's made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. And now he's upset because he had to face the consequences of those decisions. He had to face the consequences of shaking a baby, almost killing that baby, a child, which you are supposed to protect children. So talk about protecting communities. Protect the children that you say you love. But that's the thing, is you don't love Carmelo Anthony. You don't love children. You don't love Carmelo Anthony's family. You don't love Austin Metcalf, which his name is Austin Metcalf, right? You don't love anybody but yourself. And the truth is you don't even love yourself either. You're drowning inside. And that's the thing, Dominique Alexander, is it's not too late for you. You can come on over to the right side. You can come back home to Christ because you say you're a minister. So if you're a minister, is this the ministry that you really want to be a part of? The ministry of breaking the law repeatedly? You're still breaking the law as of today. We're going to get into the criminal activities that you're involved in just a second. Is that the ministry that you really want to be a part of, Dominique Alexander? So he says, protect our communities, our rights. Our vote, our schools, our truth. What is your truth? All I know is the truth. And the truth has a name. Okay? His name is Jesus. The truth died for you 2,000 years ago so you could actually live free. And you don't have to be bound by the weight of your sin and don't have to be you don't have to have that weight that, like I said at the beginning of this case, I saw a dark cloud over the defense. And that's the thing is Christ came to save you. So you don't have to have that dark cloud over you. You can let go of your truth for the truth. Because that's the thing is so many of y'all are trying to be the gods in your own life instead of looking to God. He's the only one who can save you. The government can't save you. People can't save you, but God can save you. And he tells us that in this life, we will have many troubles, but take heart because he's overcome the world. This violence that they're pushing is not the option. Is not the answer. Jesus is the answer. So he goes on to say, this is a march for the oppressed. A day to say, we will not be silenced. Sir, who's silencing you? Because nobody's silencing you. You have actually been the loudest person in the room. Last time I checked, when Carmelo Anthony's family had that press conference, you're the one who talked for 25 minutes and they talked for 5 minutes. So who is silencing you? And sir, you're not oppressed. You live in America, the freest country on planet Earth. You have great opportunities here. The only thing that is oppressing you is you. You're what's oppressing you. Nobody else is and guess what? You're the one who can be a part of setting yourself free by giving your life over to Christ, by actually saying, you know what? I'm tired of my own wicked ways and I'm ready to put God first. Let him in today. And I promise you that feeling of oppression is going to fall right off of you. You're going to be able to smell freedom. You're going to be able to taste and see what the Lord has done for you. You're going to be able to enjoy the luxuries of being alive and being well in this country. It's all about your perspective. I talked to my dad today. And my dad and I were talking about how you view the past. And he was telling me, and we both agree on this, it's all about, he said, it's not about erasing the past. It's about changing your perspective on the past. It's all about your perspective. And so that's the thing. And he also said something else that really stood out to me. He said something along the lines of, he said he rejoices in his failures because failures make him appreciate success. He's able to look back on those failures and he's actually, he loves looking back on his failures and actually seeing the lessons that he learned because of those failures. And that's the thing is in life, in our country is made of people. Okay. It's made of people and people aren't perfect. None of us are perfect. That's why we need Christ. That's why the nation is under God, right? In God we trust. He has to be first in this country. That's why people like myself are speaking up about this because you got to go back down. You got to go back to the foundation of America. And keep in mind, slavery happened all around the world. But what makes America special is we're one of the first countries to abolish slavery. We put an end to that. But some people can't move past it because they are miserable in their own life. They take issues that happened in their own life and they blame everybody else for those issues. And everybody else is always the problem. That's the thing, is what is unfortunate is those people end up staying oppressed because they believe they're oppressed. And then people make so much money, 10 times the amount of money as them, and actually are 10 times more successful than them because the other people don't feel like they're oppressed. There's a reason why, unfortunately, Black Americans are making the lowest in this country. And it's not because they're being oppressed. It's because oppressed by anybody else. It's because they're oppressing themselves. They're choosing to stay in the past. That's their choice that they're making. And they can choose to do something different today. You can choose to change today, right now. This could be your moment. Okay? This could be your moment. So it says, a day to say, we will not be silenced. As I said, nobody's silencing you. A day to honor the legacy of those we've lost. And those still fighting to live. What are you fighting against? That's the thing, is love is the answer. Don't underestimate the value of love in your life. All right, y'all. So when I told y'all were the co-hosts of this show, y'all have been taking it seriously. And I want to shout out the subscriber who sent me this information. Okay? God bless you. Thank you so much. So somebody named David EZ1911 on Twitter posted this. America First Watchdogs. Shout out to you, America First Watchdogs. Thank you so much for posting this valuable information so that we can be updated on the truth. Y'all go support them on Twitter. Thank y'all so much. Dominique Alexander and NGAN's claim to providing security for Anthony family unlicensed and questionable. So this is what I'm talking about. As I said earlier, Dominique Alexander is responsible for the killing of 5 police officers. He's also stealing from the government. And he's done this multiple times before, and he's still doing it. He said he's changed his ways and everything like that. But it seems like he's put together a team of criminals to help him continue to commit criminal acts. We're about to get into it. Dominique Alexander, founder of the Next Generation Action Network, has claimed that his organization is providing security for the Anthony family. Specifically in connection to Carmelo Anthony, a teen charged with murder in Frisco, Texas. News reports, including an ABC article from April 17, 2025, confirm NGAN's involvement, stating that their security detail escorted Carmelo Anthony after his release from jail. If y'all don't remember what happened, or y'all didn't see that, this is what happened. So Dominique Alexander posted this on Instagram, and he had titled this, what many didn't see was the view from our director of security smart glasses. Y'all, I ain't never tried on smart glasses, but I mean, this technology is getting so advanced these days. They got the smart glasses now. Anyways, have y'all tried on smart glasses? I ain't never done that. Interesting. But I guess these things exist. And so Director of Security Smart Glasses captured the moment of our NGAN security team escorting Carmelo Anthony from the Collin County Jail to the vehicle. This wasn't a hired detail. This was family. Interesting. Birds of a feather flock together. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its own internal security team, a dedicated group of trained individuals who step up to protect and serve families in moments of crisis. What you witnessed yesterday was not new to us. So apparently his security team has been being a security team for years with no accountability. Governor Abbott, where are you on this situation? Texas, Governor Abbott, you need to be watching out for Dominique Alexander, because what's happening in your state could be destruction waiting to happen. You need to be careful, Governor Abbott. You need to be watching out for your state right now. The whole country needs to be praying for the state of Texas and also praying for our country. Because the demonic forces at work, and it's not just Dominique Alexander, it's the team behind him, including allegedly George Soros. The demonic team behind him is dangerous. God has not given us the spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. And so we need to be doing what we got to do, because we have authority in Christ Jesus. We don't have to sit here and watch this happen. And that's why I'm grateful for people like the watchdogs on X, is because they're not just sitting here and watching it happen. They're actually reporting on the facts and being a part of the solution. Imagine if nobody was actually holding Dominique Alexander accountable. This man would be running the whole country into the ground. The Next Generation Action Network has always had its own internal security team. He was sure proud of that. A dedicated group of trained individuals. What training have they had, Dominique Alexander? Because last time I checked, y'all aren't even licensed to be doing all that. Who step up to protect and serve families in moments of crisis. What you witnessed yesterday was not new to us. It was simply a reflection of the critical, consistent work we've been doing over a decade. To our security team, past, present, and future, thank you. What you do is vital. And as president of NGAN, I couldn't be more proud. If what they do is vital and you say they're a part of your family and you protect them and you love them and all this stuff, why wouldn't you make sure that they have licenses to do what they're doing so they wouldn't be involved in criminal activity? That doesn't, to me, sound like somebody that you love. Because last time I checked, love protects. Love doesn't do this kind of stuff. So it says, this is what Team NGAN looks like. This is what people-powered justice looks like. People-powered justice. That's an interesting saying there, that people-powered justice. I don't know why that really stuck with me. What is that really? He said something about people-powered justice. Interesting. So let's read this. Dominique Alexander, founder of the Next Generation Action Network, NGAN, has claimed that his organization is providing security for the Anthony family, specifically in connection to Carmelo Anthony. If you don't know about the Carmelo Anthony case, this is a great time to catch up on the previous videos. I've done plenty of recaps, so you will be able to check that out. But just to shortly sum it up, Carmelo Anthony is a teenager involved in a senseless murder. He committed a senseless murder against another teenager. His name was Austin Metcalf. And Austin Metcalf had the world ahead of him. He had the rest of his life ahead of him. Great student, never been in trouble, 3.9 GPA. He also was a D1 athlete, athlete recruit. And so he had a lot of scholarship opportunities to play D1 football. So this young man was dedicated. I mean, he was on the field during season, off season, working hard, making things happen. And he ended up at a Frisco track meet on April 2nd, 2025. He noticed somebody in his tent, in his school tent. And from what we know, the teammates on his team we're all told by the coaches, hey, make sure you're watching the stuff on the, in the tent, so nobody's stealing from us and everything. Well, they noticed and somebody they didn't recognize. And the person happened to be mouthing off and things like that. And so they're like, bro, you got to leave. This is not your tent. Time to go. And this guy, Carmelo Anthony, said, touch me and see what happens. I guess maybe Austin Metcalf pushed Carmelo Anthony, and next thing you know, he says, punch me and see what happens. Well, little did Austin Metcalf know, Carmelo Anthony had just reached into his backpack and pulled a knife out and was waiting to stab him. So by the time he says, punch me and see what happens, Carmelo Anthony is within seconds putting a knife in his heart and in his chest. And now Austin Metcalf has been laid to rest. He was, I believe, 17 years old. His life was taken way too soon. And Carmelo Anthony, well, yeah, Carmelo Anthony, he's been charged with first-degree murder, but you want to know something real interesting about it? Social media started supporting him like right off, saying, oh, yeah, it was self-defense because he's black and I'm black, so I'm supporting him. And then they started making fake autopsy reports to make it seem like Austin Metcalf had drugs in his system. They also started making fake Instagram. They made a fake Instagram saying that Austin Metcalf was a racist, when we know that Austin Metcalf he has black friends. He's comes from it seems like he's around a mixed group of people. He's a football player. And y'all know on football teams, at least half of the team is black. Y'all already know this. That young man wasn't racist. He had black coaches, people in his community. His father even said, hey, don't make this about race. But what did the media do? What did social media do? They made it about race. And now they've told all these lies and they've raised all this money for Carmelo Anthony. They've raised over $500,000. And unfortunately, Carmelo Anthony is now stuck with his lies. They ain't even given the young man the opportunity to come forward and actually experience true freedom, because we know that the truth sets you free, because he's stuck with the lie now. He chose to tell this lie. And now, you know how you tell a little white lie and then it grows into something so much bigger than you expected. That's kind of the situation that Carmelo Anthony is in. So there's a recap. So it says news reports, including an ABC News article from April 17th, 2025, confirmed NGAN's involvement, stating that their security detail, and Dominique Alexander, he's Carmelo Anthony's spokesperson. Security detail escort Carmelo Anthony after his release from jail. However, serious questions arise about the legitimacy of this service, as there is no evidence that Alexander or NGAN holds a Texas armed security company license, and his felony record likely bars him from obtaining one. Here's why this claim is problematic and what it could mean legally. If you don't know, Dominique Alexander has a criminal past. And I'm not talking about something light. This man is responsible for the killing of 5 officers. He also shook a baby almost to death, and that baby ended up having brain trauma, and didn't even tell the mother that was happening to that happened to her child. This man has a violent history. So it says no evidence of a Texas security license. Research into Texas Department Public Safety, DPS, regulations, and public records show no indication that Dominique Alexander or NGAN is licensed to operate an armed security company in Texas. So he's not licensed to do that. And that could be problematic. And it says the Texas Private Security Act, Chapter 1702, Texas Occupation Code, requires companies providing armed security services to hold a valid license from the DPS. This involves rigorous background checks, and felons are typically disqualified, especially for recent or serious offenses, which I just said. We know that Dominique has been involved in serious offenses. Alexander's criminal history, including a 2009 conviction for felony injury to a child, a 2016 probation violation sentence, and a 2017 felony theft charge, makes it likely, it makes it highly unlikely he could obtain such license. So he's breaking the law, trying to help somebody else break the law, helping somebody else who broke the law. See, birds of a feather flock together. Dominique Alexander doesn't care anything about Carmelo Anthony. He cares about revenge. He wants to get revenge against the government who held him accountable for his crimes. The DPS can deny licenses for felonies within 10 years of conviction or for crimes related to the security profession, such as violence, which Alexander records include. Why Alexander likely can't provide licensed security services. Alexander's felony convictions are a significant barrier. Under Texas Administrative Code, Title 37, Part 1, Chapter 37, Section 35.4, a felony conviction for offenses like assault or injury to a child is disqualifying for 10 years. And even after that, the DPS may deny a license if the crime undermines public safety. Federal law also prohibits felons from processing firearms, and while Texas allows limited firearm possession at home, 5 years post-sentence, overseeing an armed security operation would likely be scrutinized heavily, even if Alexander isn't personally armed. Owning or controlling a licensed security company requires DPS approval. Did Dominique Alexander know this before he went out there and made a big show of this and everything? It seems like he's been caught up in his own trap. And see, that's why I said, don't let these people get your blood pressure up, which his record likely precludes. The NGAN websites list a director of security protocol, but there's no evidence this role is tied to a licensed entity. So the person that they're talking about is this man right here. His name is NGAN. I hope I'm saying that right. NGAN Treat. And yes, I think it is pronounced like that. The last name is pronounced like that because I know somebody with that last name. And it says Director of Security and Protocol. So this is the man that is in question. Okay. Here are some questions. Questions about NGAN security claims. Is NGAN actually providing armed security? News report mentions a security detail, but it's unclear if this includes armed guards, unarmed escorts, or informal volunteers. If armed, a license is mandatory. So did they have firearms? Because if they had firearms and they did not have a license, that could be a serious offense right there. That could be a serious offense. And I know that in Texas, you're allowed to open carry, from my understanding, but criminals aren't allowed to do that. And the guy in question has a criminal past. Here's his mugshots right here. He has a violent criminal past. Unlawful. Wow. Didn't even notice this. It says here, he was charged for unlawful carrying weapon, Class A misdemeanor. So he's carried a weapon before, and that was just back in January of 2023. And the status on that is pending. So was he caught while he was helping Dominique Alexander out, or what was he doing? He also has a case for assault, family violence, Class A misdemeanor, and possession of marijuana. So this man has been breaking the law, and he's the security person. It seems like Dominique Alexander is running the whole gang over there. And there you go. There's some other stuff right there. But yeah, he's got some mug shots. And look, here's the VP right here. Also has a mug shot. Recent arrests. So it seems like Dominique Alexander has a team of criminals that he's put together. And they're out here bootlegging a security team. Shake my head. I'm telling you. So here we go. Who is providing the security? What is the scope of the security? Why align with the felon? The Anthony family's decision to work with Alexander, given his criminal history, prompts questions about the credibility and safety of this arrangement. The thing is it's not safe. And here's the legal risks: investigations, fines, or arrest. If Alexander or NGAN is providing armed security services without Texas license, they are violating the Texas Private Security Act per section 1702.381. Operating without a license is a Class A misdemeanor, which is what the security team, the director of the security team had already been charged with. He had already been charged with a Class A misdemeanor. So that means he would be considered a repeated offender if he did indeed have a weapon with him that day on the security team. And he's also breaking the law because he doesn't have a license to do that. So it's just like, what in the world is really going on? It is a whole hot mess. But like I told y'all since the beginning, there has been a dark cloud over the defense. And I'm sure the lawyer is looking crazy like, dang, these people are making it hard. The lawyer is probably just like, oh my goodness. But maybe the lawyer, I don't know what the lawyer has instructed them, but I'm just like, it seems like they're trying to use everything to make a scene, because they don't have a case. So they got the protests happening. They planning the protests and everything. Then they have a fake security team. This Carmelo Anthony's defense is completely fake. Everything about them is fake. If your case was so strong, you wouldn't have to lie. You wouldn't have to tell all these lies. That's why I've been telling y'all, don't let these people get your blood pressure up. We're going to keep sharing the truth, and hopefully people will see through these lies. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button while you're at it. And also, I want to quickly shout out subscriber JJ. Shout out to JJ. Thank you so much for your super thanks. That was super exciting. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the Tamera Nealy show. I just appreciate all y'all's support. And so thank you for supporting me. JJ said I can go put some, what was it? I think he said finally get some curtains. So the sun won't be in my eyes. Because y'all know I talk about the sun, and I thought that was kind of funny. So anyways, JJ, maybe I will go do that. Let's go ahead and get back on topic. So it says, if Alexander or NGAN is providing armed security services without the license, they are violating the Texas Private Security Act. And if you violate that act, guess what? It's a Class A misdemeanor, and you could be jailed for up to 1 year and have to pay a $4,000 fine. For felons like Alexander, additional charges could arise if they're found possessing firearms in violation of federal or state law. The Dallas Police Department has jurisdiction to investigate, especially since NGAN's press conference occurred in Dallas. A 2019 domestic violence investigation into Alexander shows Dallas police are willing to act against him when the evidence supports it. So we have evidence, potential evidence, because they haven't been able to find, we have not been able to find evidence that Dominique Alexander's, that his organization is actually qualified to have a security team. So therefore, Dallas police, will you act on this? Governor Abbott, will you get on this? It says, if tips or complaints reach the DPS or police, they could launch an investigation. leading to fines, business shutdowns, or arrest for Alexander or NGAN associates involved in unlicensed operations. So y'all, here's the call to action. Okay, here's the call to action right here. The public deserves transparency. If NGAN is providing legitimate security, they must prove they're licensed or partnered with a licensed entity. Without this, Alexander's claims risk exploiting a grieving family situation while breaking Texas law. As I said, he's been doing that since the beginning. He's been exploiting them since the beginning because he doesn't care about Jeff Metcalf. We've seen how he treats Jeff Metcalf. He doesn't care about Carmelo Anthony. We've seen how he treats Carmelo Anthony because he's not treating Carmelo Anthony right. If he was, he would be telling them the truth, telling them, dude, you got to take accountability. You did the wrong thing. You got to do the time. You do the crime, you do the time. He would be telling them that. And then also, he doesn't care about the victim in this case, Austin Metcalf. That's who this case is about, getting justice for Austin Metcalf. He has been trying to distract everybody from actually getting justice for the victim. Shame on him. Shame on you, Dominique Alexander. And guess what? He also doesn't care about his security team at all. Because if he cared about his security team, he would have made sure that they had a license. It's as simple as that. So it says here's a call to action. The public deserves transparency. If NGAN is providing legitimate security, they must prove they're licensed or partner with a licensed entity. Without this, Alexander's claims risk exploiting a grieving family situation while breaking the Texas law. Concerned citizens should contact the Texas DPS Private Security Program. Did y'all get that? Concerned citizens should contact the Texas DPS Private Security Program or Dallas Police to report potential violations and demand an investigation. Alexander's history of felony convictions and NGAN's vague claims cast serious doubt on their ability to legally protect anyone. So there is our call to action. Anybody can call them. Y'all could call them today. Texas DPS Private Security Program. Did you know that Carmelo Anthony's spokesperson is running a fraudulent security team? Did you all know that? Now, we know that they have a history of holding Dominique Alexander accountable. Will they do it this time? We know that he's planning a violent protest. It's time to shut what is that action program called? It's time to shut NGAN's network down. It's fraudulent. So it's now time to shut it down. Here are the sources so that you all can be able to check his work. Again, this is from America First Watchdogs. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. It is about that time. I hope you have a great weekend. Please be safe this weekend. I know that Dominique Alexander's protest is supposed to be happening on May 25th. So if you are in the Dallas area, just please be aware of that. And I pray for your safety. And we just need to be praying for the whole country. It's bad actors like Dominique Alexander who need to be held accountable. And if there is nobody to hold them accountable, then they will continue to push and push and push their agenda until they actually destroy America, which is their goal. It's up to people who actually love this country to speak up. Okay? And so y'all can call the police department if you want to. It's totally up to you. Thank you for watching the Tamera Nealy Show. I love you guys. And I hope you have a great weekend. And you'll hear from me soon, okay? Love you guys.